Okay, so a couple key investment areas that I just want to highlight from SAP. So the lower left here, enterprise reporting. So a lot of the reason why people would be hesitant to move to SAC is because they have those kind of formatted broadcast reports that, although may not be the most glamorous way of consuming your analytics, are still deeply entrenched in the enterprise. You will see more and more investment in this area as SAP ensures that that gap is closed. And if you really wanted to, then you could make a complete shift into SAC. The second one I'll like to highlight is this embedding of SAC into SAP Core Applications. More and more that is done. You'll see it out there. If you're an SAP shop and you're invested with different SAP applications, you're going to see SAC regardless of whether or not you are a business objects shop or not. And then, I've mentioned this several times already, but hybrid scenarios. So this ability to kind of integrate your existing investments with business objects along with these cloud investments will grow for the next probably year or so as people start to phase out that business object investment and move purely into SAC as their application front end tool. Couple more areas I want to highlight. So predictive scenarios off of live data. So originally, some of those augmented analytical scenarios that I mentioned before were only available for data that had been imported or loaded into SAC. So if you're a BW customer or a S4 customer, or you had a HANA sidecar data warehouse, it was more difficult for you to really unlock all of those powerful features of SAC. But SAP recognizes that. It was about a year ago when, before all of this COVID lockdown happened, when I was in Half Moon Bay, California, meeting with the SAP product team, and this topic really came up. That customers were saying, hey, we bought this, we thought we were going to get all these cool features, but now you're saying that some of those aren't available for the type of data that we are reporting on. So those lines are going to be erased very soon here, and you're going to see the ability for any data, live data, BW data, HANA data, data warehouse cloud data, S4 data, to leverage all of the features. And then last down here, you heard me mention before, the 365 add-in. So that's really the web-based tool for Office integration for SAC. So if you need the ability to slice and dice there. And that tool was, like I said, released about a year ago. And at this point, it's fairly stable, but it's still a bit feature light when compared to the full version of analysis for Office. Okay, so I mentioned enterprise reporting before. These are some of the features that will be coming into SAC over time. This is the best lab preview screenshots that I could locate, and I realize they may be a little bit hard to see. But what you can see out of here is that there's reports with repeating headers, with multiple elements on a page that are printable, that are exportable as PDF. Many people need that. We had a big project here at NIMBL for a customer, and one of the things we like to do when we deploy SAC is ensure that we are capturing good usage statistics. And one of the benefits of SAC is you can see the session times that people are spending in the system, as well as what they're doing. But one of the things that people could be doing is exporting the data, right? The last thing you want as a BI professional or expert is to deploy a big system, to roll out a new technology, and then the first thing people do is just export the data out because they need to have it in a CSV file so they can create a formatted report like the ones shown here. So giving people the ability to do that in the tool is important, even if it's just for 5%, 10% of your user base. Without that, you're going to lose them, and the data is going to start going off reservation, so to speak, and into, in some cases, shadow IT systems. Data wrangling is a big piece. So you may or may not be aware of Data Warehouse Cloud as a tool that SAP has recently pushed a lot strategically towards. That's really a play against Snowflake or other cloud-based data warehouses. It allows you to bring data in and do things. Bring two sets of data, model them together, et cetera. In SAC, more and more of those capabilities are also becoming apparent. So the ability to bring two sets of data in and join them together and create a sort of star schema that you can see here visually, but also to create calculations directly in your models, more and more what they're called data wrangling language. So the ability to actually write kind of SQLite against your data in SAC. So SAC is not a data warehouse. It's not going to be a data warehouse anytime soon, but this sort of ability to wrangle your data a little bit is going to become more and more prevalent as SAP invests in this area more and more. I've mentioned several times this idea of embedded SAC. This is just a slide that highlights kind of the current state of affairs for some of the flagship products. So you've got SuccessFactors with its embedded SAC, Fieldglass with its embedded SAC, Ariba with its embedded SAC, C4 Marketing Cloud, and again, embedded SAC, C4 Sales Cloud, and most importantly, S4HANA Cloud in this slide, but also S4HANA On-Prem with 2020 comes with that ability to really embed an SAC tenant into your system. What do I mean when I say embedding? I mean, yes, you could always have done this thing where you are in your C4 system and you click a link and it takes you out to an SAP Analytics Cloud system where you can have your stories and dashboards. But really the ability to keep the user in the system so they don't have to go anywhere, they're not going to a different system, their bookmarks, their collaboration, their sharing, but also their interaction with transactional data is much tighter when you're doing it in the system itself. S4 has its own embedded capabilities, but they were relatively simplistic. You had KPI tiles and you had the ability to build a kind of a pivot table-like scenario with a chart and a table underneath. But a lot of the powerful features of SAC, especially the different visualization types, weren't there. So now they are, that's great. And really the question for many companies is, do I need to just have this SAC system, or do I need a separate SAC system? And a lot of that depends on your own circumstances. Okay, continuing along. So hybrid BI, what's the concept here? I kind of touched on it at the beginning of this talk a little bit. This idea that you could have a system that is cloud-based up here in your SAC system, as well as your business object system in the background that you're connecting to and from. So your data doesn't actually leave your network and go to the cloud. You're really just overlaying SAC's visualization and ad hoc analytical capabilities on top of data that you already have in business objects, either in a universe, or I'll talk about a little bit more in now with 4.3 in a Webby report itself. The benefit here is that any of the semantics that you built into your universes, any of your models that exist in your database, you don't have to redo that. You don't have to redeploy a system. You don't have to go and reconnect everything and say, oh, now I got to create all my KPIs and semantics again. You can just take SAC, put it on top, and get all the benefits of SAC with very little extra investment. You can see here, this just mentions again that with the new web intelligence data model, you're able to leverage not just the universes, which was the sort of primary business objects connection option in the past, but the Webby reports themselves. So many customers have universe-based semantics, but also report and Webby-based semantics, and leveraging that and exposing that to SAC can be pretty powerful. And it makes you seem like a hero as an IT professional when you say, hey, I put this super modern new data visualization web-based reporting tool out there, and really all you had to do is buy a license and make the connection between the two systems.